Oh my gosh, did you just jump into that thing, you weirdo? What are you doing? Oh my gosh, I was trying not to make a mess. Don't. Alright, what you're looking at right here is called an Evanix Giant. And these are actually, this one is semi-auto, but hey, if you get one of these that's semi-auto, you can send it into Will Pate, and he will, for 135 bucks, convert it to full auto. So they basically just take this pin right here, put the selector switch right there, and you're all set. So this is like the holy grail of fully automatic air guns because it has 2 tanks. Now, these Evanix guns come out with steel tanks sometimes and carbon fiber ones, so luckily this one has carbon fibers. I just bought this for an insane price off eBay. Some pawn shop didn't really know what they had, and I got a hold of this for probably a third of what it's worth. So this one's a little scratched up. Looks like the stock was messed up there, but it looks like I got a 25 caliber right there. Super cool. There's the nanometer on the top right there. Now this is battery powered, so it's got an on-off switch for the electric power. And then right here is also a fire and safe switch, so it's kind of like redundant safeties. Right here's your bolt. Now when you have one of these, it's important to drop some oil in here every once in a while. Not petroleum-based oil though. And the battery must go down in here. So what makes this so badass is it's basically a 25 caliber fully automatic machine gun. Now the clip right there, I believe the premium clips hold 11 or 12 in 25 caliber, and you can get double magazines that hold, let's say, 11 each, and so you have like 22 shots, 24 shots in 25 caliber. Pretty amazing. So it also came with this monster scope right here. This thing's huge. Now it looks really nice, but it does say China right on it. Wow. So this is a 10 by 40 by 56 scope. So you could really drop some full auto bursts in on some birds or something with this bad boy. Holy crap. That's my cat Preacher. He's very rambunctious. So that's cool. I got a cool new scope for my collection as well. I'll go ahead and take this up to the range now. There's usually a pin in here. And if you look closely, the pin's been removed. And so possibly this is already in fully automatic mode. We'll have to find out. But yeah, I'll go ahead and take this to the forest or the range next time I go and see what it can do. Anyway, right here's a blast from the past. They haven't made these for a few years at least. So I already have an Evanix Giant, and I looked about 7 years on the Airgun classifieds before I found one. So if you want to check that out, it's a brand new, super nice kit, and that's in my favorite Airguns video. If you look through my videos on the Airgun channel, you can find that. Alright guys, this Evanix right here is actually pretty jacked up. Now, I got this for $900 off of eBay, and if it was in working order in semi-automatic, I could easily sell it, you know, in the first day on Airgun Classifieds for $2,500. If this was in fully automatic form, I could get at least $3,500 for it. So, pretty good score. Of course, it does have a cracked stock. You know, I'll have to deal with that. Of course, I'll probably end up keeping it anyway, so I might make my own stock for it or some weird thing like that. Here's these double magazines right here. So, the important thing with these is that you have to put the pellet in and snap it in. If you just put it in flush, it'll jam the gun. So that's one of the reasons that Evanix didn't catch on before these full autos, because people would complain that they would jam, but it's only because no one told them how to load the magazines correctly. So I've been loading the magazines correctly on these full auto Evanix for at least 5 years now. Never had a jam. As I was saying though, this gun is all jacked up, and I'll show you what's wrong. As you can see, it's a little bit used, but no problem for me. This right here is the bolt, okay? And so this is actually, it's back a lot of the ways, but it's supposed to be back here. That little nut right there, that's the back of the bolt. And so when the bolt is back, then you can get your magazine out. Now, this gun came with no charger for the battery, and the magazine stuck in here and the bolt stuck forward. So anyway, that magazine is not coming out until I pop this back. And so I'm going to show you in this video how to fix an Evanix rifle as far as that goes. Now, it could be stuck forward because the battery, which is located back here, that's the wire that's going to it, is dead. So the first thing I'm going to do is get a couple new batteries. Either that or pull this one out and charge it and pull the trigger and see what happens. So let's do that. Okay, now the battery is located back here. So to get to it, I got to remove this plate back here. Same as the Conquest and all the non-bullpup semi-auto full autos. So basically a semi-automatic. Evanix is basically a full automatic already, just needs a selector switch in there. Alright, so that's good news. The battery's not even hooked up, so maybe I'll hook it up and see what happens here. Sometimes these are a real tight fit. Never had anything go wrong though. You just gotta stuff those wires in there. Bend them all up and everything, squish them in there. See, like this isn't even coming out. But I've never had one fail or anything, or had any wiring problems. There we go. So this right here is an 8.6 volt, 8 point something volt, and if you have a 9mm semi-auto Evanix electric powered, you got to do a 9.6 volt because it needs a 9.6 to run anything bigger than 25. Right here's a 9.6. As you can see, it's a little bit bigger. It has like one more cell in it. So in cold weather, you can run a 22 177 caliber or 25 off a 9.6, but it's not recommended. For now, I'm just going to hook this up, see what happens. Now, unfortunately, the magazine's stuck in here, so. Alright, so I'm pointing at the corner of my wall. I'm going to go fire and turn it on position. I got 150 pounds. Okay, the battery must be dead. Now, I'm not going to worry too much about the voltage. I'm just going to go ahead and put this 9.6 volt in there. This may or may not be charged. Alright, I gotta charge these babies up and then we'll see what's up. Okay, so this is the charger that came with the Evanix. It basically has this like mini RC plug here that just goes into whatever those are called. It's another RC thing. So basically these are run off airsoft batteries. If you get in a pinch, you can order airsoft batteries, and they are, looks like NiCad batteries. So that's cool because you can leave a NiCad battery charged fully for as long as you want. Doesn't damage them, as in LiPos. LiPos do get damaged. Basically, I'm just going to put this on there just like you think you would. Now, one thing about these is this charger is going to turn itself off. It's going to turn from red to green or whatever. It's going to do something. And the thing is, though, these get a little bit hot when you're charging them, so I like to just unplug them from the wall. I don't know if it's really going to hurt if you leave it in overnight, but if you're going to charge this, go ahead and try and be around and unplug that in an hour or two when it's done. Alright, there we go. So that'll probably turn to green or stop flashing or turn off when we're done. Okay, so my charger turned green. My battery's all ready to rock and roll. Alright, now I have this pointed at my wall just in case it hits something. Here we go. Alright, nothing. So that could just mean that it's jammed. So what we have to do now is remove this screw, I believe this screw. Then this receiver is going to pop apart just a teeny bit. There's a wheel inside here that operates this bolt. So once we've pried apart just like 1 or 2 millimeters, it's going to snap free and that thing's going to be good. Then I'm going to show you how to cycle the bolt, make sure it's in the back, same position, and press this back together. You never want to take this receiver apart more than a teeny bit, because all the stuff will fly out and you'll be sending it in for repair. So I got my tool kit right here. Okay, now there's a couple different size hex heads. Now you want to be careful when you get down to the last couple screws, because this thing can pop apart by itself. When I get down to the last couple screws, I'll go ahead and be really careful. Okay, now we run into a problem. See this screw right here? Now it's just tucked under the stock right there, so when I go to pull it out, it doesn't want to come out all the way. I'm going to have to go ahead and loosen the stock on this baby. So it looks like I got a hex head in there. Alright, now I should be able to wiggle this. There we go. That's just enough for me to get my stuff out. So this is a short screw. I believe the back ones are longer, so keep track of what you're doing there. Also make sure that your Allen wrench is seated in there before you start torquing, so you don't strip it out. And when you're putting this back together, you just tighten it down until it stops and give it a little bit of snug. You don't tighten it as tight as you can, because that'll strip it out. Actually, I don't think we have to remove that one. Okay, now this is my last screw here, so I'm going to hold it together just in case it wants to surprise me. Like I say, that's a slightly longer screw right there. And then the top one, very top one, is a long one. Okay, now I like to avoid using tools if I possibly can, because I don't really have the proper tools for many things, so let's see here. Okay, I must be missing one screw. Let's do this top one right here. Now, like I said, when you get down to these last few screws, be careful. Things might want to pop apart on you. Like I say, now if the hammer and stuff does come flying out of here, not a big deal. You can send it into Airgun. They'll fix it for like $100 and ship it back to you. Really a great place. Alright, that was a really long screw. Alright. Oh, see? Okay, now watch. Keep your eye on this bolt right here. It's going to pop back. Come on, buddy. There it is. That's it right there. Now, I want to separate this a little bit more, though. Alright, now I'm going to pull the trigger and let it cycle once so that my wheel, if it's in a half rotation, that'll be in the right spot when I clamp this back down. I think you can almost, can you see those teeth in there? Like a shark. Perfect. Do that twice. That's it's not. Oh, that was it for that battery. Okay. Now I'm gonna put this back down, and hopefully this thing will cycle perfectly. I don't know why my battery just stopped working, or the gun, but let's put this back together. Let's put this back together and see what happens. Now, look at that, my magazine slides right out. Perfect. Alright, see it stops moving. Now I just give it a little bit of a snug right there, and that's it. Alright, so I don't know what's going on with my battery. I'm going to charge my battery back up, and hopefully that's all it was. That was a bad battery. It was only good for 2 shots, so heck, I'll just charge up the one that came with it. Hopefully my giant will be ready to go. Okay guys, I didn't get it on camera, but I just charged up successfully one of these shorter 8.4 volt NiCad batteries, and I slipped it in here. I got it in here, and it's actually fitting pretty good. But I'll probably just leave this one in here and charge it when it's inside the stock. So, hook up my 2 things here. And the way I got in there was plenty of room. So here's those magazines that I'm talking about. A double magazine for Evanix is just basically 2 magazines stuck together. And I'll show you how it works in a second, but you basically load one and then just slide it over when you want the other one. I think I used to have 25 caliber with 12 on each side. I used to have like 24, 25 caliber shots. And I'm going to show you that little snapping in the pellet trick here. So now the new Evanix magazines, you just put them in and you just have them flush and they're perfect. You don't have to snap them in for the new Evanix Max and stuff. But the way you do these old ones, alright, so here's a magazine to the battery operated Evanix. And the way you load it is you put your pellet in there. And now you put it in there and now it's flush. So the magazine will still advance. But what you really want to do is snap that in there. So watch this and you'll hear the snap. Okay, I just snapped that in there. Now it's way down in there. I'll do one more here. Okay, and so it actually hits the floor of the magazine right there. And so that's how you load a battery-powered Evanix magazine. You see how far in there the pellet is now. And that's, if you do it like that, it'll never jam, ever. But if you just put them flush, they'll be popping all over the place, and it will jam. So, anyway, if you ever get a hold of one of these, if you're lucky enough to ever get a hold of one of the battery-powered Evanix, that's how you do that. Okay, so we got our battery in there. We got our wheel unjammed, and so now let's see what happens when we pull the trigger. Fortunately, it's unloaded as well. Here we go. Awesome. Okay, that's exactly what we want to happen. Now, if we had not pulled the trigger when this was apart and reset the wheel, we want to put it back down, and the wheel was halfway through a rotation anyway, so then it would have been fine. Then we would have pulled the trigger like that, and it would have ended up right back where we started. So, by resetting the wheel before we pinched it back down, now look at this. Perfect. I can sit here and pull the trigger like that all day. Now, this is a powerful air gun. So, anyway, I'm not going to do that too much more, but the other thing about the Evanix is that will jam them is if you shoot them down too low of air, like if you go below 50 bar. So, anyway, I'm going to top this back off. The good thing about the Giant is it has these two tanks, so the air meter goes down very, very slowly. You'll sit there, shoot 2 or 3 mags, and you'll look on the Giant, because I have like another one of these, and I also have a couple Monsters, which is the same gun, mechanical, with 2 tanks. You'll shoot 2, 3, 4 clips. You'll look at your meter. It's like exactly where you left it. It's crazy awesome. So anyway, it looks like I got a 22 caliber right here to match my 25. But maybe I'll sell it to some lucky person. And anyway, I have a full auto selector switch. I bet I can tap that right in there. Let me go check that out. Hold on. Okay, look at this. So in my dealings, when I used to buy every single battery-powered Evanix that was for sale, I did that for about 2 or 3 years. That's how I got about 20 of these. I got this full auto selector switch. So unfortunately, it looks like it has a little spring in here, so I don't think I'm going to attempt this. But I was hoping I might just be able to kind of shove it in that hole right there. Now, I think that if this little lever comes up, oh yeah, now watch this. Full auto action. That's right, son. Anyway. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. A little more TLC on this thing, and it'll be ready to either make me a ton of money or keep in my collection. We'll have to see. Now, mine is a 25, and this one's a 22, so anyway, I'm going to have to do some real soul searching on this one. We'll see. Alright, so the only other thing I might want to do to this thing is, now that it's working, I want to take this plate off, go like this, and just go drop, 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 drop. Drop about 5 drops of non-petroleum based gun oil in here. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and then once you do that, you'll see little drops of oil splashing around here, but that's what you want. So if you do that, keep a charged battery. It's another thing that can stop your thing mid-cycle. Keep a charged battery, load your magazine correctly, oil it in here, and your Evanix full auto will never jam. Okay, this is technically upside down right here, but you can see I removed the screw right there. Now, this is going to be a little tricky. I think I have busted these before, but basically, and a lot of times, you see you got a little crack right there from the screw, not a big deal. Oh, yeah, so basically, this thing will come out real gently. It's like hard plastic. There you go, like that's the inside of your stuff there. So, I'm giving it a visual inspection here. I see this piece of crap right there. Oh, now gravity is your friend. You're doing stuff like this, so I'm just gonna hold on. I'm gonna turn this over and get that piece of gunk out of there. Looks like this thing's greased up pretty good already. Some sort of coating on it, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it a couple drops. Just like that. That's pretty much it. Alright, that's it right there. I've never done more than 5 drops, so now I'll put this back on. Yeah, I say this over and over, okay, every time I get an opportunity, is that you don't screw stuff in on air guns or guns too tight. You just go. Okay, it kind of stopped resistance there, a little teeny bit of snug. Okay, because you're just going to pop stuff, like in this case, you'd break this even more, the plastic, and it'll be fine. It's meant to just go like that. If you really want something to stay, you can put some Loctite on it, but I don't know, I've never actually done that, so don't quote me on that. So now, watch this. We're going to pull the trigger, and you can see, sorry kitty, my cats hate that. You can see the oil's already splashing around in there. So when I turn it over, like this right here, yep. Alright, now I have a fully serviced Evanix, fully charged battery, oiled up. Apparently I got a double magazine and a regular magazine. Not sure how many of these hold, but we'll find out. Wow, I am one lucky dude. Alright, check out my machine gun, because that's quite literally what it is. I got 13 shots, full auto thunder. Just freaking slide that over. And I got another 13, so 26 coming at you. Pretty freaking wild, and that's why I like it. So there it is. That's been your Evanix battery-powered semi-auto, full auto video. Okay, how to unjam, and how to fix, and how to service, and how to maintain, and how to shoot a fully automatic Evanix. So, hope you enjoyed that. If you get your hands on one of these, definitely do it. You won't regret it. They are definitely a lot of fun. Very unique air gun. Alright, thanks for watching. Okay, this is not just a barrel shroud. It looks like it's one of those custom Evanix moderated shrouds, so that's cool. So this right here is what's called a Evanix GTK290. Boy, this looks like one of those 308 squad automatic weapon machine guns that those military carries. Semi, we're just gonna call this full auto Evanix GTK290 25 caliber. Coming soon on Airgun channel.